1 to watch. This is 16 WAPT News live at 5.
Election Day 2016. Time to vote for our next president is running out. Thousands of Mississippians already cast their ballot, but not without some problems. We're investigating the broken ID scanners and voting machines. We have crews around the area and country as we count down Commitment 2016. Well, rain did not stop these voters at Belhaven University's voting precinct this morning. Now just about 2 hours until the polls close. Let's turn to Chief Meteorologist David Hartman for your weather first.
Well, through Election Day, we've had between a quarter and a half inch of rain, so a good bit, especially since we've been in a drought. Right now, for the evening, 2 hours of voting left. There are areas of misty rain and drizzle around the area. Nothing too heavy, so be prepared for that. There's a lot of lines. You may have to wait outside, so just a little light rain or drizzle expected over the next 2 hours. I'll tell you when things clear out. The 7-day forecast is pretty nice.
Live at 5, Election Night team coverage. I'm Megan West.
And I'm Keegan Fox. We are counting down to the polls closing in Mississippi. Tammy Estwick is in the 16 WAPT newsroom, the Nerve Center, where we're watching every angle tonight.
That's right, and our crews have central Mississippi covered tonight. We're taking a look at long lines and poll problems. We want to start off in Vicksburg, however, with 16 WAPT's Ryan Houston.
Well, things here at the City Auditorium have been moving pretty smoothly since about 7 o'clock. I'm told that they've had about 600 voters, and they're expecting a lot more. Let me move out of the way so you can see the people here. They're doing their civic duty. We're told the process is pretty simple. The voter comes in, workers check the ID and the roll book. The voter will sign the registry, and then they'll get an okay to vote slip, and then it's time to place that ballot. Okay, as we've been saying all day, the polls here close at 7, so you have a little bit of time left to come on out to allow your voice to be heard. Live in Vicksburg, Ryan Houston, 16 WAPT News.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. We want to get over to 16 WAPT's Scott Simmons, who's in Brandon. How's it looking out there, Scott?
Looking pretty good. This is Crossgates Baptist Church. It is the largest voting precinct in Brandon and Rankin County. Big voter turnout, although right now we have a lull in the action, but a huge surge earlier today. In fact, there's 3,200 people registered to vote here already. Better than 60% of those people have cast a ballot, and they're still expecting that late afternoon surge to come rolling in. You know, the largest number of absentee ballots they've ever had cast here is about 80. Well, so far, well over 300 absentee ballots. They are expecting a really high turnout before the polls close here at 7. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Scott. And ladies, some voters may have noticed there was a new item needed to vote today.
Well, that's true, Tammy. This is the first presidential race where Mississippi is requiring voter ID.
But today, 16 WAPT's Ann Parker found several places where the voter ID scanners were not working.
Broken ID scanners at 1 Jackson precinct.
Is that slowing stuff down a little bit this morning?
It is. It is. It's always a problem with one or more of them is not working.
Early voters at the Presidential Hills Fire Station say they had to wait up to an hour.
Everybody can't just wait and wait and wait to vote. It's almost like it's a ploy to make us do all of this waiting just to vote. And I just think it's ridiculous.
And at Griffith Memorial Baptist Church in Byram,
it's moving kind of slow, but really need more people at the desk. If we had more people at the desk, it'd be a whole lot better.
Another problem with another broken ID scanner.
It was just a wire was messed up, and they came and fixed it within 30 minutes.
So they did come and fix it.
Yeah.
But slow things down just for a second, right?
Yeah, because we had them lined up out the door and around the building.
We have very minor problems, glitch problems that have now been cured around Mississippi, from the coast all the way to DeSoto County. Long lines, people coming, whisking through. They don't take long, but they're stacked up out there.
Did y'all expect to wait a long time today?
No, but it's a blessing so many people turn out.
In Jackson, Ann Parker, 16 WAPT News.
And Megan, you were telling us you had a bit of an issue this morning whenever you went to vote.
I sure did. This was the first time my precinct has used those ID scanners. So we scan my ID and the screen pops up that I should be at a different precinct other than the one I've used for the past 3 years. Thankfully, one of the poll workers suggested checking the paper rolls, and they did find me there. No idea why the scanner was showing a different voting precinct, but clearly maybe some kinks to be worked out with these scanners that we're just starting to use here.
Yeah, for sure. All right, Megan. Well, we did find long lines everywhere in the capital city. Our crew found more than 100 people standing in long, winding lines at Virginia College. And people we talked to say the wait to vote was over an hour. In Madison County, election machine problems left dozens of people voting on paper ballots. 16 WAPT's Allie Ware reports on the technical problems we saw in Ridgeland.
At the Ridgeland Recreation Center, voting here in Madison County not only got off to a wet start, got it off to a rough start as well, with technical difficulties before voting even started.
Error message when we opened the machines, and we called, as we're supposed to, our election commissioner, and they got the repair people over here, and they had never seen the error, and they have been working on it, and they're up at present. They were up for a few minutes at one point about 15 minutes ago. Then they went right back down. Now they're back up again.
But the rain and paper ballots did not stop voters from coming and casting their votes. Paper ballot or machine voting, does it make a difference to you how you vote in this election?
It doesn't make a difference as long as I have an opportunity to vote.
I think it's actually maybe a reflection on what's wrong with the campaign. I think the campaign's been very divisive. So I think there'll be a big turnout on both sides.
Those technical difficulties at this polling place were resolved within the first hour. For the most of the morning, voters here were voting on machines. In Ridgeland, Allie Ware, 16 WAPT News.
Now, the Secretary of State is reminding people that no pictures are allowed in the voting booth. We talked to Delbert Hosemann. He says pictures of a marked ballot or pictures in the voting booth can actually get you kicked out of the polls. Now, you can have your phone in the voting precinct, despite some signs up in some precincts saying that you can't.
No cell phones in the booth.
No.
Got it.
You got them in your pocket, but don't be taking pictures or calling your boyfriend or girlfriend or husband or wife or something.
Because you can get kicked out for that.
I hope you do get kicked out. Okay. I mean, look, we're going to have 1 million people vote in 1,800 precincts today with 10,000 workers and 7,000 machines. So everybody needs to have some common sense here.
Is one of 17 states that doesn't allow you to take pictures in the voting booth. History will be made regardless of the outcome tonight. Hillary Clinton would, of course, become the first woman to win the presidency, Tammy.
Yeah, and her team says they're already prepared to work very late tonight. 16 WAPT's Sally Kidd joins us live at 5. She's live in New York covering the Clinton campaign. Sally.
Well, good evening, Tammy. After a brutal 19-month campaign, it all comes down to tonight. Hillary Clinton has multiple paths to victory, and her team is feeling confident. In a historic bid to become the nation's first woman president, Hillary Clinton campaigned into the early morning hours of Election Day, then cast her ballot in her hometown of Chappaqua.
I know how much responsibility goes with this, and so many people are counting on the outcome of this election, what it means for our country.
The electoral map looking favorable for the Democratic nominee.
We're feeling really good right now because those turnout numbers that we're seeing across the country are really eye-popping, actually.
Campaign manager Robbie Mook says Clinton has been able to expand on President Obama's winning coalition.
Women are supporting Hillary at rates that we never saw for President Obama. Latinos are supporting her at higher rates. We're also seeing enormously higher turnout.
About 2 miles from here, that's where she's going to be watching the results come in. Her campaign manager says she will show up with 2 different speeches, one for victory, one for defeat. Of course, they're hoping when she takes this stage behind me tonight, she'll be declaring victory. Live in New York, Sally Kidd, 16 WAPT News.
All right, thanks so much, Sally. And Donald Trump and his family voted this morning around 10 o'clock. You can see Trump in this video with his wife right next to him casting her vote as well. Now, here in Mississippi, we still have just under 2 hours to vote. 16 WAPT's Aixa Diaz is covering the Trump campaign from New York.
Trump supporters will be filling this room tonight as they watch election results start coming in. This is where the campaign is hoping to celebrate a victory tonight. In his hometown of New York City, Donald Trump cast his ballot on election morning. On Fifth Avenue, trucks line the front of Trump Tower, preventing cars from parking by the entrance. Security is tight on the streets of Manhattan. More than 5,000 officers are patrolling Midtown, including the area around the Hilton Hotel, where Trump is holding his election night party.
Today is very humbling and very moving for our little family.
Mike Pence will join his running mate tonight. Earlier today, the Indiana governor voted in his home state. This morning on Fox News Channel, Trump said running for president has been an amazing process. If he loses the election,
if I don't win, I will consider it a tremendous waste of time, energy, and money.
The Trump campaign says they're feeling confident in battleground states, including Florida, North Carolina. They say they feel good about the voter turnout, and they say they're in a position to win. In New York City, Aixa Diaz, 16 WAPT News.
And back here at home, some viewers say they're a little confused about a law when it comes to buying alcohol on Election Day after they saw several signs saying they couldn't buy it.
You know, Tammy, I grew up in Laurel, and I've heard this my whole life, that you can't buy alcohol on Election Day. But we actually did some digging. According to the State Department of Revenue, sales of alcoholic beverages are not limited or restricted on Election days. Local governments can pass laws restricting beer sales on Election Day, and some individual stores may choose not to sell alcohol to you on Election Day. Now I want to take a look at some of the state and local races on the ballot today. First, those congressional races. In the U.S. House District 2 race, Democrat Benny Thompson hoping to keep his seat against John Bowie, Troy Ray, and Johnny McLeod. In the U.S. House District 3 race, that's Republican incumbent Greg Harper looking to keep his seat, facing challengers Dennis Quinn, Legina Sheets, and Roger Gerard. State Supreme Court District 1, that race is incumbent Judge Jim Kitchens facing challenger Kenny Griffiths. And in the State Supreme Court District 2, that race is between Dawn Beam and Michael Sharif. We'll have the results of those races scrolling on the bottom of your screen right here on 16 WAPT and, of course, on the 16 WAPT News mobile app. So, David, we go weeks and weeks without rain, then we wake up on Election Day nice and wet out
Folks
there.
have to stand out in the rain.
Yeah, I was out there.
You know, the thing about the ballot, there wasn't a whole lot on the ballot on the presidential election, so you kind of see the line move
Once
pretty
you
good.
got in, you got in quickly.
This is the most rain we've had with a storm since, look at that, August 25th and 26th. So in over 2 months we haven't had this much rain, and then it hits on Election Day. But it's going to be gone soon, and we got a terrific stretch of weather. I'll tell you about that next.
Looking forward to that, David. Well, hey, as we head to break, I want to give you another look at folks voting in Vicksburg tonight at the Vicksburg City Auditorium. Remember, you have until 7 to cast your ballot. Much more election coverage when we return. You're watching 16 WAPT News. We are live at 5. Thursday at 10, murder manhunt for months, only to find he's in jail under a different name. Now, new questions about inmates using fake names. Thursday at 10 on 16 WAPT News, the one to watch.